Om Sri Aurobindo Mira, open my mind, my heart, my life to your light, your love, your power. In all things may I see the divine. Om Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame. Om Sri Aurobindo Mira is my refuge. Vande Mataram, Namaste, good morning, welcome all of you. The beautiful topic we are going to discuss today, and the topic of this morning's discussion will be on nationalist movement part 2. Initially we have seen the nationalist movement part 1. Of course, in that was the beginning period, in which we have seen something like partition of Bengal and this yoga and politics. So initial the discussion was being done, and we have seen it in brief. Now we will go for that part 2 of the nationalist movement. It will be a Sri Aurobindo's initial period. Before we have seen that his revolutionary Sri Aurobindo and yogi Sri Aurobindo coexist side by side in his supramental personality. That was the message we have seen. We have discussed a little bit in that last discussion. So in this discussion we'll see that beautiful thing that Mother Sri Aurobindo has called the Sanatana Dharma, that is nationalism. It is of course it has been quoted beautifully. Third, before going for discussion, we'll see his message over about the complete victory. The leader, the master, actually writes two lines. We can take the quotation directly. I saw the morning of the future rise. I saw the mornings of the future rise. I heard the voices of an age unborn. Very beautiful quotation, and this was the thing. This has been described by narrated very interestingly by Sri Aurobindo. Of course, we'll try to go deep inside to quote him. Sanatana Dharma, that is nationalism. We'll see. So we'll start from Vande Mataram. It was a great event about this Vande Mataram. It will be a great event for us to discuss. To start from Vande Mataram. So it was during the period that Sri Aurobindo joined Bipin Chandra Pal. Lal Bal Pal, you have seen, you have heard the name, very great names in this moderate movement, in the nationalist movement. It was during this period, nationalist movement period, Sri Aurobindo joined Bipin Chandra Pal. In the editing of Vande Mataram, it means that I bow to thee, mother. I bow to thee, mother, Vande Mataram. He took the opportunity to start the public propaganda necessary for his revolutionary purpose. It was clear, very much clear. He just started. Means from the very first ball itself, he started hitting a six. Its intention was very clear. We have come here to bring an upside change, one overall change, fundamental change we have gone to. This revolutionary purpose was publicly propagated by Sri Aurobindo. His first work was to declare openly the complete and absolute independence, that the aim of political action in India. Very first of all, it was very much clear. It was not at all misunderstood for these people who were ruling over the world at a large. So, political agent action in India, the absolute aim is complete and absolute independence. And to insist on the again and again in his journal, it was written and rewritten. The message was been delivered from the nook and corner, Kashmir to Kanyakumari. It was tried to be distributed, the message. He was the first Indian politician to have the courage to do this, because nobody in his career or character had such a great character to, of course, go up to the extreme extent. And he was immediately successful. The party took up the word Swaraj. It was accepted well. To express his own ideal of independence, it was accepted well. And it soon spread everywhere. The journal declared and developed a new political program, and that is non-cooperation, passive resistance, Swadeshi, boycott, national education, and popular arbitration. These are the things it has been focused upon, and in that political program, in that journal, everything was declared. Non-cooperation, passive resistance, Swadeshi, boycott, national education, popular arbitration, etc. Then what happened? Next phase. Sri Aurobindo wanted to push the whole nation into the intense and organized political activities, not by passive resistance or something it can be done, because Sri Aurobindo was well aware with the culture, mind, mentality, their style of working within India while he was reading there. His idea was to capture the Congress and make it an instrument of revolutionary action, because this Congress, it is almost passive, and the non-violence passive, everything was there. So he wanted to capture Congress and make it an instrument of the revolutionary action, tit for tat. So, and instead of a center of timid constitutional agitation, what the nearly the Congress people were intending to do, and we are of course doing. So, which would only talk and pass time resolutions. A central revolutionary body, an extremist party, it was the interest, it was in the choice, it was in the mind of Sri Aurobindo, was formed. Its acting being first, number one, increasing non-cooperation and passive resistance to make the foreign government's task difficult and impossible. This was the first task. Second, creating a universal unrest to wear down the repression. Third, finally, it may be, it need to be to open revolt all over the country. These were the things. Number one, increasing non-cooperation and passive resistance. Second one, creating universal unrest to wear down the repression. Third, if need be, open relay revolt all over the country. The plan included what is the plan, what is the choice between them. The boycott the British trade, number one. To boycott the British trade, number two. National school must be boycotted. Arbitration courts of the people boycotted. Voluntary forces, these are the things, the plan was including all these things. Sri Aurobindo wrote series of articles on passive resistance, series of articles, not one or two, it was written, and another series developing a political philosophy of revolution. That revolution, that is on that revolution, political philosophy of revolution, series of articles were written. He wanted to destroy all these wrong ideas of the moderates. They heard the idea, but of course the wrong idea, and Sri Aurobindo wanted to destroy all these things. Moderate party about British justice and the benefit bestowed by foreign government, their faith in British law courts and in the ruinous education that were given. Sri Aurobindo felt these are all simply it is a time passing. Nothing positive will come out of it, nothing we can expect. So he wanted to change the entirety of the mentality, entire mentality of the fundamentalists. So it must be changed, and some aggression will be there. If they are armed revolution, of course, it may be the final end. He stressed on the stagnation of slow processes. He stressed on the poverty, economic dependence, crippled industries, and all the results of a foreign government he tried to stress upon. These are the things. India was going down, it was in a ruinous position. Oh, we are almost more than 1200. So he stressed upon. And he insisted that even if the alien rule is benevolent, then also it is no substance for the free, healthy national life. Bande Mataram began to circulate throughout India from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. It was got good circulation. It was circulated. It was unique in its influence. People had the very good response was there, good influence, and it is exercised converting the mind of the people and preparing them for a revolution. There was a very big response, and Indians they were got organized. They got influenced. Yet the article were so cleverly written that it could not be prosecuted. Very interestingly, he exercised his mind, and so cunningly it can be, nobody can be prosecuted. A British editor complained that the paper rigged with sedition That sedition charge was also there, which is visible between every line. Yet so skillfully worded, no legal action could be taken. This is Sri Aurobindo, this is His Majesty, this is His greatness. So the things were tilted, and it was his brain. He was doing everything. He was instrumental. He was the leader behind the scene. He was doing all these things. A new spirit was created in the country. There was influence. There was a very big response. Enthusiasm sweat surging everywhere. People got enthusiastic. They got influenced. They understood that it must be done, and they felt in Sri Aurobindo the leader is born, and the leader should be followed upon. And with the cry of Bande Mataram, that Bande Mataram we have already discussed, this Bande Mataram we have seen. I bow to the mother. With this mantra, of course, we are also doing it here also. Bande Mataram ringing all sides, men melt with the gorgeous, glorious to be alive and dare and act together and hope. So that gatherness, that integrity, that union, that revenge, that unity, it has been flourished among the Indians from all corners. The old apathy and the timidity were broken. As the moderates, the Congress people, Congress leaders were doing, they were actually carrying out, waiting on the mercy of these British rulers. Actually, it started to be broken down, and a force created which nothing would destroy, and rose again and again, and in wave after wave, carrying India to its complete victory. There was a wave created. People felt, all over the Indians felt there is a leader is born, and his ideology and his mentality and his type of leadership is actually it is unique. So people got influenced, and they started to go for the further course of action. They got influenced. Again, I will try to quote those two lines. I saw the mornings of the future rise. I heard the voices of the ages unborn. Brilliant line, the beautiful quotations. Voices of the ages born, I heard. May mornings of the future rise, I saw. This is Sri Aurobindo, and this is her quotation. And Sri Aurobindo always preferred to remain and act, even to lead from behind the scene. Already we have seen he was a leader behind the scene, and his writings were actually, it was clearly at the front. And this yogic experience and his yoga also, it was the power behind this influence and this great arise. And he, as he say, history seldom records the things that were decisive, but took place behind the veil. It records the shown front of the curtain. Very interesting definition and very interesting message. I will quote it again. He says, history seldom records the things that were decisive. Seldom quotes, history seldom quotes, but took place behind the veil. Everything took behind the veil. It records the shown front of the curtain. It shows. Then he was forced into the public view, where the government prosecuted him. As editor of Bande Mataram, he was prosecuted, but he was acquitted for the lack of evidence. He was prosecuted, but there is no evidence, because his style of writing, his technique of writing, his style of expression was really unique, and he was acquitted immediately for lack of evidence. And from that time, he became openly the leader of the Nationalist Party. Just imagine, after getting acquitted, convicted, he was wrongly convicted. When he got acquitted openly, from that time he became openly the leader of the Nationalist Party. There is no other to stand before him. The organizer of the policy and strategy, everything was done by him. He was at the top. He led the party at many political conferences. He led clearly. He became visible leader, and he came to the front. Spoke on the public platform. There was a very clarity. He came out, and with the prominency, he shared. He spoke at the public platform. Addressed large meetings all over the country. He became the hero of that time. Then, according to his his own views, if we want to secure freedom of the country, we have to sacrifice everything for it. That is natural. It is difficult to sacrifice ourselves for the mother kind. We have to sacrifice. That is the only way. Thank you.